done one of these for a while, but a topic came up. I was interested in the latest Call of Duty, Black Ops 6. I didn't even realise that they'd done a Black Ops 5. I kind of lost interest in Black Ops after Black Ops 3 when I had it on the PlayStation 3 and they cut the campaign from the PS3 version. Absolutely loved original Black Ops and Black Ops 2. But we're talking here about Black Ops 6. Now, that is supposed to come out the end of this year, and I was very, very surprised to hear that it's going to be cross gen compatible, which means it's going to be on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, but it's also going to be on the PS4 and the Xbox One. Now, don't get me wrong, that is not a bad thing. I mean, there are a lot of PS4 and Xbox One owners out there that haven't upgraded. But we are 4 years into this ninth gen console era. So not 4 years into the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. And it really has been a bit of a lackluster in terms of moving forward and sort of saying goodbye to the last gen. And it's a bit two-edged. There obviously is a huge user base for the PS4 and the Xbox One, which Microsoft and Sony don't want to lose. But it's at a detriment to the PS5 and the Xbox Series X because they're not pushing forward. They're not saying, right, now we're going to just make games exclusively for the next gen, so you're going to have to upgrade, which is general console policy. That's how games consoles work. They have their run, and then you make a choice whether you need to upgrade or not. And that's usually done because the newer games come out for the newer systems only. And you always get that sort of mid-entry, early on period where, I don't know, the PS5 is only just out, so they are releasing games on both systems. And that happened with the PS3. There were a number of games on the PS3 that were also released on the PS4. But that tailed off very, very quickly. The PS4 took over. If you wanted new games, you had to buy a PS4. That hasn't happened with the PS5. There were even some PS5 exclusive titles that were announced as being exclusive, and then they backtracked and also released them on the 4. And that has got to be hindering sales of the next gen console, because why would you upgrade when your current console can play whatever latest games that's coming out? And I was very, very surprised to see Call of Duty. I mean, it's not been officially sort of announced or released, but rumour mill, and apparently there's some leaks, etc., that say that it will be cross-gen compatible, which means it will come out on the PS4 and the PS5. Now, I'm sure there will be some differences. Maybe you'll need the PS5 to access some extra features. Maybe the one that comes out on the PS4 will be sort of a basic version. I don't really know, but it just seems a little odd that as we're getting towards the end of 2024, almost 5 years into the ninth gen console era, and they're still releasing games for the previous gen. And big name games. We're not talking about little tiny indie developers who just want to keep the PS4 alive. We're talking probably the biggest Call of Duty release that we've had in a long time, and it kind of would have been nice for them to say, right, this is PS5 and this is Series X only, because it's such a big game, and it's the graphics on it and the power of it's just too much for the PS4. But they're not. They're releasing it on the PS4 and the Xbox One. And is that going to then impact on what it looks like on a PS5? Are they scaling back the game so it is compatible with the PS4 and kind of missing the point with the 5? I'm not really sure. Or is the gap between the PS4 and the PS5 so small that they can release it on both systems and it it looks fantastic. I mean, there is nothing wrong with the PS4, and I think that PS4 Xbox One era is the problem. Games, or the consoles have reached a point where the next gen just isn't bringing in enough fancy. Well, it isn't bringing in enough. There's not a huge leap. Now I've spoken about this before. That you can just make a game look fancier, better textures, better draw distance, faster loading times. But that's not really enough to say, well, I don't want it on the PS4. I'm going to jump to the PS5 because I think the hair looks better, or it shaves a few seconds off loading time. And I think that is the problem. I think the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, as fantastic a consoles as they are, they're not that far ahead of the PS4 that people go, I don't want to. I want to upgrade instantly. There was no wow, fab, groovy. Oh, this looks so much better, and I'm assuming it does. I mean, some games will load faster and will look better on the PS5, but it's not enough. And evidently, the PS4 and the Xbox One is still hanging on enough for a developer like, well, whoever owns Call of Duty these days. Is it Activision? Is it Microsoft? I'm not sure. Has said we need to pull this, and we need to keep this on the PS4, because obviously there's a huge user base on the PS4 which they would alienate if they didn't bring it on the last gen console. So yeah, that is just the thing about this video, that Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is going to be cross-gen, last-gen, whatever you want to call it. We don't 100% know that, but it's heavily rumoured. And I think this weekend, so what we are now, we are on the 6th, so I think something like the 9th or the 8th, the 8th or 9th of this month is when the official announcement for Black Ops 6 will be out. But as with most things these days, they're all sort of leaked ahead of time. It looks like it's going to be PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X, PC, no Switch, unfortunately. Yeah, Black Ops 6 is going to be one of those games that's going to be... It'll be a big game. I mean, Call of Duty has kind of tailed off in popularity of late. PS3, PS4 was sort of golden era. And whether it will be a big game, I don't know. But the fact that they're releasing it on last gen console is amazing in ways. It's good and it's bad. I mean, it's impacting the next gen, but it is keeping the last gen alive. So let me know what you think. Should they release Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on last gen consoles? What's it going to look like? How is it going to be different to the release on the new gen or the current gen, PS5, Series X? Let me know what your thoughts are. Like, subscribe, enjoy.